as well, which tap into the whole ecosystem, like the movie, for example. So yeah, I'm just biding my time, he said. Lance Stroll was the victim of a strange rumor in Zandvoort, with the Aston Martin driver said to be preparing to switch from F1 to pro tennis. Stroll is currently on a rolling contract with Aston Martin, with his father, billionaire Lawrence Stroll, the Green Mark's executive chairman, who bankrolled his career from the outset. But while Stroll has 3 podiums and a pole to his name, the deficit to teammate Fernando Alonso has allegedly left the Canuck rankled. The stats make for grim reading, with the Spaniard leagues ahead, 11-2 in qualifying and 10-1 in races that they both finished. Alonso also has 121 more points than Stroll after 13 races. But the switch rumor was just that, despite Stroll being a huge lover of tennis, so much so that he even requested the Australian Grand Prix promoters arrange a game with his hero, former world number 1 Leighton Hewitt, ahead of the cancelled 2020 race. I'd better work on my backhand a little bit, because I don't think I'm quite at that level yet, Stroll said. I mean, I like to think I'm pretty good, but I don't know if I'm ready to go up against Djokovic and Alcaraz just yet. McLaren is confident it can keep Lando Norris beyond his current contract that ends in 2025 if it can give him a car capable of fighting for the crown. Norris signed a 3-year extension with the Woking squad last year, one believed to pay him $20 million annually, and the intentions at the time were clear.
I think McLaren is where I want to win races as a driver, and I think I'm the driver. Obviously, McLaren want to be able to win races with. So within each other, we want to achieve the same goals, and that is to win races. And I believe that we can do that as a team. I believe McLaren can win races and win championships as long as I'm with them for the next few years.
But while the Brit needed faith earlier in the year, with 2 17th places at the season openers in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, significant upgrades in Austria have turned the team around, with Norris scoring podiums at the British and Hungarian races. And the squad knows it has to build on that pace to retain him long-term. It's not a case of wooing him or not wooing him. It's about giving him a car where he can look himself in the mirror and say, "I think I can win a world championship with this team," Brown said. Ferrari wants to agree with Carlos Sainz on his future by the end of the season so that both parties can go into 2024, the final year of his current contract, on the same page. Sainz joined Ferrari in 2021, but hasn't been a consistent thorn in the side to teammate Charles Leclerc, despite taking his maiden win at last year's British Grand Prix at Silverstone. But rather than just lock in a new deal and move on, team boss Frederic Vasseur is keen to first determine whether Sainz will stay or go, and plan and negotiate from there. We still have 4 or 5 months in front of us to decide, but we are fully aligned on this point with Carlos and his management, and we will have the discussion soon, he said. Valtteri Bottas expects Sauber to become more corporate under Audi's ownership, but says he doesn't mind having to have second thoughts on what he posts on social media. The Finn is locked in with Sauber until the end of 2025, but wants to kick on into its 2026 transition to Audi, which he considers an interesting era and makes sense given its long-term plans. But Bottas says he's happy for the team's current relaxed atmosphere to be compromised by Audi's competitive spirit. As long as I can still have my fun, which I believe is good for me, that's the main thing, he said. Austin's Circuit of the Americas says that it could potentially host 500,000 people at next year's United States Grand Prix, setting it up to smash last year's record crowd benchmark by 60,000. F1 is enjoying explosive growth stateside, with 3 races there this year in Miami, Austin, and Las Vegas, each of which is positioned differently to complement the sport's offering. But COTA boss Bobby Epstein says that improvements to transportation, food service and bathrooms, which will be assessed at this year's event, should boost capacity for 2024 at the Texan track. We'll have to see if the demand is there, but we'll have the capacity certainly next year, assuming the things that we are trying this year go as well as we hope they will, he said.